Okay. So yesterday we did the basic things. So we were able to add the tasks and tasks were coming at the below, right? Now we will move it with the next thing. But currently, if you see, currently I don't have any task. Okay. So on the page load, I'm getting an error. Cannot read properties of null, reading for each. Okay. Cannot read properties of null while reading for each. So line number 15, we are getting an error. Let's check line number 15 now. So here we are getting error. What does that error mean now? This is the error. Cannot read properties of null, reading for each at line number 15. On this line, we are getting an error. What is that error? See, this kind of error is very common. Whenever your application break, this is the error we are supposed to get, either for undefined or null. So what is the error? Cannot read properties of null. And reading for each means wherever you are using for each, before that it is null. Okay, let's try to add a debugger. I will click it over here and I will add a debugger over here, line number 15. So see, task list is null. Can we iterate on null? Whenever you use for each expect a array itself. But currently, what is the value of task list? Null, right? So from where we got the null? See over here now. Currently in the local storage, we don't have any data, right? So here you can see we got it null. So if it is null, shall we convert it into task json.pass and assign it to this variable? Was this line needed if it is null?
No.
Right? So we need to add a if check key. Whenever you read the data from local storage or session storage, always add a null check, because if the value is not there, your variable will have the null value. Currently it is like that. Okay, so this is the first if check we need to add. So this json.parse we need to do only if this is not null, then only we need to convert. Otherwise it will be, array will be empty as it is, whatever the with the initial value we have. So here like this. Now our UI won't break. Reload. Now currently we don't have any data, so we got null. If it is not null, it won't go inside. And in the plot grid also it won't break because it is empty. So for empty array, it won't break. Okay, nothing is breaking right now. Understood? So whenever you are reading the data from local storage, session storage, or whenever you are using iteration, you have a variable, and in that variable you have, let's say, array, object, something is there, and you are doing some operation on that. Always check it if it is array, the length is there or not. If it is a string, the value is there or not. Before doing some operation, always check over here. Okay. Now, so currently what was happening? Interview at 3 p.m. On click of add task. Yeah, we were able to add market visit at evening. Now you can see whenever I'm adding the task, after that my text box should get emptied, right? On click of add, my text box should get empty, right? See, interview batch at evening. So on click of add task, my task got added, but my text box is not getting emptied. This should get emptied once we click on add. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So where we have the function for add. So here, once you properly add the task, this value we have to make it empty. Okay. So after this equal to empty. Let's test it. New task test. On click of add task. See, text box is getting empty. Okay, one by one scenario, one thing we are taking care. Now, let's say user didn't add any task, and if we directly click on add task, what will happen? User didn't provide any value into the text box and he directly click on the add task. What will happen as per our code? Whatever the code we have written, what will happen? Will it break? Because if the text box value is empty,
Empty string is added.
empty task will add because
Yeah.
nothing will break, but empty it will add, right? So it should not be like that. See, empty. So how do we handle it now? How do we handle it? Empty should not be there, right? If the text box is empty, we have to show some warning key. Yeah, enter some task name. How do we handle it?
Check before add task. It not be empty.
Right? How do we check if text box is empty or not? Or we have got the variable value over here. So how do we check if the text box is having empty value or not? What is the condition to check if text box is empty or not?
Stream that and check it's not a string.
Right? So first we will check it by empty. So here if text box value equal to double quote, this is nothing but empty. Okay. So if it is empty, we have to give alert and we will say enter task name. Okay. If it is not empty, the remaining line of code should work. Right. So all this line will go in the remaining else. This will work fine. See, we are getting it. Okay. Now, sometimes happens user might add empty space. Now, is this a correct value?
No.
Is this correct value?
No.
See, it is added. Okay. We need to handle this also. Empty space, just space doesn't mean anything, na? So we need to take care of that also. So on string prototype, we have a method which allows you to remove the unwanted space. That is trim. So dot value dot trim function is there. Okay. On the string, we have a trim function which removes empty space. Okay. So if I give one a space, see, understood? Okay. And again, here you can see we need to remove the empty space also. Even if you show the alert box, still that empty space is there. So we need to remove that also. Again, you remove it or not, but here, when you extract the value, again, you can add a trim function over here like this. Okay. So whenever you read the text box value, you are removing the unnecessary space. So what trim will does? If you have some space before the text, if you have some space after the text, it will remove it. In between, let's say you have a two word and in between you have some space, it won't remove that. But before and after, if you have some space, it will remove that. Okay. Shall I show that by debugger or everyone knows it? Let me show you. I have three space and then I have Chetan. Okay. So here I have three space. On click of add task. If you check dot value, there, what is it? Allow paste na. Okay. So see, you got space. Now if you use dot trim, see, you just got the value. Understood? Now let's see if I add
Yes.
Chetan space, 3, 4 space I'm adding. Oh, yeah. So in between I'm adding 4 to 5 space. Add task. Now see. I got so many space over here. If I use trim on that, still I got the same value. Now this space it didn't remove. Understood? So trim will remove only space at the beginning and at the end. In between space it won't remove. Understood? Trim. Okay. So we handle that empty space value also. Now we have some junk data. We need to remove it. This was some test record we need to remove. So on click of delete, we should be able to remove this. Okay. How do we remove a specific element? Sorry, it's an array. So how do we remove a specific element from an array? Hmm. How do we
Based
remove
on
space?
index.
Yeah, but what method? Which method helps us to remove element from your array?
Splice.
Splice. Right, guys, we have seen that. Splice method is that which will helps you to remove the element. How many parameters splice function has?
2.
Hmm?
2.
How many parameters splice function has?
2, sir.
2, right? Start and end. Okay. So now on click of delete. Now you have an array. From that array, you need to, if I click on over here, you get this value. Okay. So now our HTML element is getting created dynamically. See, this element is getting created dynamically. You know, this element, this whole your task list is getting created dynamically. So on click of this, you need to write a function. So element is itself dynamic. You don't have HTML, na? I mean, in your HTML file, you don't have anything. You don't have delete button over here. It is empty. And in this whole means whole your element is getting created dynamically from this function. So here you have it, right? So now you need to create an event on the dynamically created button. You need to register an event on the dynamically created button. Okay. So for that, how do we write it? Add event attach listener is there, but we need. So let me explain you a small topic first. Mm, let's say we have a button. I'm creating a button. Okay. Click me. ID, BTN, click. Okay. So I have this button. Now how do we, and let's say I have a function. Function, click me. Okay. Alert. BTN, clicked. Okay. So I have a button and I have a function. If you click on this button, this function should get executed. How do we do that?
On
This
click
function should
function.
get triggered, right? So on click, event name, and your function which you want to call on this button click. This is what you know. Okay. This is very normal way what you know. Okay. Function is getting called. In JavaScript, we have more ways also. Simply what we did on the button, on this event, we registered this event. Whenever this event occur on this element, this function should get clicked. So either you do like this, you create a function and you registered over here, or second way is document dot get element by ID. You select an event, you select the particular element. Okay, you got the element itself over here. Here you have a method dot add attach, no, add event listener only, na? Add event listener. Okay. Now see what type, what this function expect. Type, HTML element type. Okay. Means which event you want to write. So event is click. Then which function you, wait, second is listener, na? So this function I will call it over here. Now I will remove this on click from over here. So now I just have a normal button. Then on the page load, what I'm doing, I'm selecting a button, and on that button I'm registering an event. Event type is click, and if this event trigger, this function you need to call. See now. Still it is behaving the same. In HTML we don't have anything, but still my function is getting called when I click on that button. So that is happening because of this. So this is another way how you register an event on a particular element event. So we got the element. On that element, we are registering an event, add event. You are adding an event on this element. What is the event type? This. And which function you need to call? This. So this is another way where you add element, where you register an event on an element click or something. Understood? This is another way how you register an event. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this way we might have to use it over here because element is created dynamically. So here you cannot write on click. Okay. So what we will do, let's try to add a ID equal to single quote btn delete. Okay. And this ID we will try to put it over here. Let me remove this test button. So now our button is created dynamically from this function. So on that button I have added ID, and on this line I think we have to register, because on the page load we don't have this element, right? So we have to do this once once our for loop is there. Okay. So after this I will add it, because here in this function your button is getting created. So once button is getting created, and instead of ID, because ID we cannot add multiple, right? Because this is in the for loop, so all the delete button will have the same ID. So instead of this we need to use the class, because ID selector will work only on the first element, right? So here I will add class btn delete. Okay, class I'm adding. And then once your button is created, then you are registering an event on it. Let's check now. It's breaking. Say only one element got printed, means it's breaking somewhere. Cannot read properties of null. Okay, sorry, we didn't change this. Now this button is a class, not a ID, right? So get element by class name, but class name, here you will get multiple element, right? Let me ask Java ChatGPT. I also forgot now. I want to add event to dynamically created button script. This is if you had created like this, but we are creating something different. So you got button container dot add event listener click. Where is button container? Let's put out our code. This is my function. Event. Which written collection of element. That is the problem we had. Okay, whenever you use the class name, you get array. That's what it is saying. Since you already have a task div program entity, place approaches to task list on. Okay, so it is saying, okay, instead of adding it on the button, you can add it on the task list. So this task list, query selector, button, and button dot element. But again, query selector will get you a single element only. Let's try.
Sir, by creating a dummy variable, we can assign the
By creating a dummy variable with
ID to ID. For every time we are creating the new task, we increase the ID value.
let's try this first. Still it is breaking. This didn't get removed. Okay, now it is fine. Let's see if I click on this delete button. Here it's breaking now. Okay, function is getting called. So see, every time if I click, see, this event listener is getting triggered. Okay, now here element. Okay, so our function got registered by using this. Okay, every button if I clicked, my function is getting called. See, so this line is getting called. Okay, and in this line you are calling your function. Now you need to identify that you clicked on which button. See, if I click on new task test, you need to identify that this particular task has been clicked. So in event, what you get? Event dot, see, event is not your complete object, event object. So whenever we talk about the event is also nothing but an object. It has so much of data. So event dot target. So see, event dot target. So currently this function got called from the click event. So this function is getting triggered from which element? So see, that element is getting highlighted. See, that element got highlighted. What we access? Event dot target. Target means this particular function got triggered from which element? So that you can identify by target. Let me continue and we will click on another. So now I'm clicking on market visit. So again, if I write event dot target, see, now this icon is getting triggered, highlighting. Means you are able to understand that which function, which element, from which element your function got triggered. Okay, now you got the element that on this particular row, which record you have clicked. Now you need the text out of it, because once you get the text, then you will remove it from your array, right? So here, when you are creating the element, you can store some data over here. On the dynamically created element, you can store some data. That is how data property is there, data hyphen. Okay, so if you want to store some value, again, this we use it in Angular also sometimes. If you want to store some element, if you want to store some value onto the element, so we have a data property, data dot task name equal to, but no, sorry, here we are already in the template literal. If you want to access a value, now here you want to assign your template literal value. So task name only you will assign it over here. Okay. Now what we have done, whenever we are creating a button, on the button we are adding a task name, data attribute. Let's see this first. Why it's breaking somewhere? Let's check. Cannot read properties of null read list. Why it is breaking now? On first three element it didn't break, and on remaining it is breaking. We got it. First two element it is working fine. On fourth element it is breaking. Why? Cannot read properties of null. So on first third element it is working fine. See, all the three element got created. What did we change? Nothing. Just this we have added. Does it need this? Let's see. Yeah, because of that. Okay, so single quote or double quote was missing. Now if you inspect it on every button element, see task name. See, getting it? If you edit this now, see everywhere on every button you have added the task name. Okay, now if you click on the delete, why click me is not defined. Click me is there. Why it is saying click me is not defined? Now only it was calling, na? Something is wrong. Element got registered successfully. Let's try to remove this. Let's add a debugger. If I click on delete, something is wrong. Same only now. Why it is saying it is not working? Task.query selector, task div. Okay, wait. So this is the task div. From our element, the parent element which we created, from that we are selecting it. We return the button element only now. Let's try now. Task div dot query selector. Okay, now correct only. From our element, we are finding a element wherever we have a class dot button. We got a button and we are registering an event on it. Why it's breaking then? Delete. Save. Okay, now it is working. Why? What
Previously, we were applying the addEventListner on task div, not the button. Task div dot addEvent.
Okay, here it was. Fine.
Yes.
Let's check. So if I click on this interview at 3 p.m. delete, but why my debugger is not getting clear? Okay, we registered it, right? Now, okay, so this event we will pass it over here as a parameter, and that event you get it over here. Now here we will check that debugger. Now if I click on market visit, delete. Why debugger is not getting called? We have debugger, right? Button clicked is calling, but why debugger is not active? Very strange. Okay, now you got it. So now over here, event dot target. So you got, sorry, we got icon, but we return the event on the button. Na? Why we got icon? Yaar. If you are registering an event on the button, so child element also get that function. Currently what is happening, we have registered event on the button, but again all the child element also get that click function. Okay, so if you click on the specific icon, you can see we got an icon. And now you set the value on that button. The task name you have set it onto the button. Now on the icon, you don't have it. Okay, let's click on the button. So I'm clicking outside. Event.target. So you got a button. Okay. Now on this element, you have stored the data on the task name. So now you need to read the data from this variable. Okay. It's like you have created a variable on the element and you have stored some value. Okay. So event dot target dot data set. You can see on the data set, you can see the object you got, data set dot task name. See, you got the task name. So now you know user has clicked on which particular button. You are able to get the task name. Okay. But again, that same issue we had key only if you click on the specific item, there also it was getting. So same thing, I'm copying it over here. So doesn't matter where user click, either user clicks on the button or the icon, both where you will get the data. Okay. So here where task name. So event dot target dot what was it, dataset dot task name. You got the task name. Now from your array you need to find, because when you use the splice need an index, from which index you need to remove. So you need to find the index of the particular element from your array. Okay, so what it will be, where element index. Now what I need to do, from my array I need to find element index where task name is this. So for that, on where is your array name, task list dot find index method is there. See, find index method. It will help you to find the index. You know, array gets in array, we store the value as per the index. So this method will help you to find the element, find the index of the element, whatever the value you pass. Okay, where value equal to m equal to m, sorry, find index, and you have to pass the task name. So whatever the task name you get, that you pass it over here, you will get the index of it. Let's add a debugger over here. This is another method. Find index will help you to get the index of this value, whatever the element you pass it over, it will help you to find the index of it. Okay, let's see. Okay, now if I'm clicking over here, so element dot task name, so you can see we got the task name. Okay, now wait, why we got the space one? Let's try. And now over here in the task list, here you can see it is on the second one index. Okay, so it breaked. Why it is breaking? String is not a function. Why it is breaking? Okay, sorry, it's an array of object. Array of object, no, it's not a simple array. So instead of this, item, where item dot task name equal to this. If it was a normal string array or number array, directly you can pass the value, but it's an array of objects. So with what property you need to compare, so that we are passing it over here. My bad. Okay, so let's pass on this. Why it is behaving differently? Debugger is not getting added. got it. Okay, so here you can see we got the access of the particular element. So in the task list, where it is 2, why we got 2? Okay, we clicked on Chetan. So see, Chetan value from our array, it was present on task index 2. So that index we got. Now you know the index. Now you can use your splice method. So your task list dot splice. Splice needs index, right? So index you got, element index you got. And how many element you want to remove? Only one. That's it. But once you remove the element, once you remove specific element from your array, you need to call the function again, which plot grid, so that your UI will refresh over here. Save, save. Now let's try. Okay. Now this value I want to remove. On click of delete. You got the task name, and this task name is present at the index 101, second index. Now we are removing it. So here you can see task list, currently we have 9 element. Once this line run, it will remove. See, only 8 element we have. And again we are reloading our grid. So see, it removed or not? Okay. So once you do that, again, whenever you add, edit or delete, your data is getting stored on your onto your local storage. So you need to again store it. Local storage dot set item. What was the key? This line I will copy and I will paste it over here. Let's save and check it one more time. If I click on this, wait, why UI is not removing? Okay, this is getting repeated again and again. We need to make it empty also. So this line should go over here. Now it will work fine. Okay, so if I remove this, see, getting removed. Okay, so your delete is working fine. Even if I refresh, still the same value. So some extra thing we had to see, because this element was created dynamically. So if your element is created dynamically, so this is how you register an event, dynamically registering an event by using this method, addEventListner. Okay, so what we did, we had this element div. From that div, we are finding an element wherever you have the class name this. So on that element, you are registering an event. What is the event type? Click. And you are passing the function. Okay. So whatever the function object you get, event object you get, that you are passing it over here. So it will come over here. So in event dot target means this function is called from which button? So that element you get, and from that element data set you are reading the task name. Why reading this? Because while creating the button, we have stored the task name on that element. See. So whatever the task name you have, because you need to find the particular element by that task name, then you use the splice method. Okay. So then we got the index, and that index we pass it to the splice to remove it, and we are able to remove it. Understood? Okay. Give it a go. Only this line was something new. Again, we don't use this in JavaScript while working on Angular. This is only for JavaScript itself. Whenever you create a dynamic element, this is how you register. In Angular, it is very easy. We don't, the normal way only we do it. We don't have another way in Angular. Only one way is there. But in JavaScript, we have two way. Either you register from over here by writing on click, or you do like this. Okay. So now delete is working. One more issue you have. Now market visit at evening, or let's try interview at 4 p.m. Okay, I'm adding this task 1. I got it. Task got added. If I try to add the same thing again, should it allow? Should it allow or no?
No.
No.
right? So, but if I click on add, see, it is allowing me to add duplicate value. So we need to stop this also, that if the value, whatever the task name you are trying to add is already present, so you don't want to add it again. You can give some warning that same task name already exists. Okay. So on save task. So here you got the task name. So here you can check in your array if the task name is already present or not. So now from array, you need to filter it. So from your array, you need to find if the particular element exists or not. Okay. So again, the second method we are going to use from array, where is element is task present. Okay. Your task list dot find method is there. We have two methods, find and filter. Don't worry, this all these array method we are going to see it separately, but again task is there, so we are going to use it. So find method, where m or item, anything you can write it over here, item dot, because it's an array of objects, so item dot task name equal to sorry, capital task name equal to whatever the task name you have got. But see, when you are getting the task name, you are using the trim, but while storing you are not trimming it, so both the same, you should have the same value, so trim. Okay. So what this line does, from your array it is trying to find the element where task name is whatever the task name user has entered. So if it found the element, it will get you the element, but if not, it will give you undefined. Whatever the condition you have passed over here, if the element is exist, you will get the element itself over here. But if the element is not there, you will get undefined. So we will add a undefined check. So if it is undefined, means element is not there. So we will run this line of code over there. But if it is not undefined, means element is present. So it will go to the else, and here we will write alert. We will say a task name already exists. Okay. Let's add a debugger and let's check. Save, save. Okay. Now this interview at 4 p.m. value, I will try to add it again. On click of add task. See, we got the task name over here. Now task list, see, value are present. Okay. And that same value we are checking. From my array, I'm checking if the task name is having this value is present or not. So see, currently value is present. So we got the object, whole element we got. So this is not undefined. So it will go to the else block, and we are showing task name is already exist. Understood? If I click on new market evening, I clicked on delete. Okay, let's check at interview at evening. Let's try the task same to add. Okay, so we got the task name, but this element is already exist. Okay, so we will get the element itself, and it will go over here. But if I add a new thing, let's say interview at 9 p.m. Now this element is not present in my array, so you will get undefined. See, you got it undefined because this element is not present in your array, so you got undefined. So if it is undefined, you will add it. So this is how you avoid the duplicate also. Understood? Clear all? Okay. Again, I will take all these method again properly, but since in the task we had to see it, that's what I'm taking it. At least if you are seeing all this for the first time, it's okay for now. But just try to understand the concept. How this duplicate, why we are writing this code. That concept should be understood properly. Okay. Now we have filter over here. Or before filter, first we need to mark it complete. This checkbox is there. So if you this checkbox was something else now. From where you got? From where we created this UI? ChatGPT, na?
Node.
ChatGPT.
Where? Because what I wanted, if you uncheck this, this is checked, right? So if you uncheck it, if you mark it done, so some different icon we need to show, na? Something else was there, na? We removed that HTML also. We didn't had that commented. Let me try to undo. It won't get me that also now. So when we created it immediately, initially it has something like over here class, like it is complete or not, right? But how do I do that now? Okay, let it be. If it is complete, we will add some different color to this. Okay, so that we will know, okay, yeah, it is completed. Now, if I click on this, what I need to do, I need to mark this particular task as complete. So when you added the task, you have this flag. So if you click on a particular task on that icon, so you need to change this property to true, means it is completed. Okay. So just like we have added a button, you have added a click event for the button that delete. Just like that, we need one more function mark complete. Okay. And again, it will expect the object. This function we need to register on this particular first button complete. Okay, so just like this, we need to find, copy this, paste it over here, button complete. This class we will give it over here, complete button, and on complete button click function you will call this function. Okay, now we have two dynamic function, one is for the delete and one is for the mark complete. Okay, again same thing, you will get the task name over here. Okay, but when you are, just like we have stored the task name over here, same here also we need to store, because that's how you will identify which task you are trying to mark complete. Okay, now here you will get the task name. Let's add a debugger and check it one more time. Okay, so if I click on this, why I'm not getting debugger now? Okay, we don't have anything. Save, reload. Okay, if I click over here, so see, task name is coming undefined. Why? Okay, again that element on that icon also we need to add the same thing. Okay, we got the task name. Wherever you click, that task name we are able to get. Now you know the task name. Again, from your array on that specific element, you need to change the task to is complete to true. So again, you will find the element. So how do you find an element? By using find method. So where selected task is equal to task list dot find method, m equal to m dot task name. With the task name you will find it, equal to the task name what you got. So here you will get the complete object. from that complete object dot is completed, you need to make it true. Okay. So whatever the task name user has clicked, you find that from your array and you are changing the is complete flag to true. Again, you need to store the same thing to your local storage. But before it again, you need to empty and you will plot your grid again because UI need to refresh. Whenever you change something in your array, your UI also need to refresh. So this function does that. Okay. Let's say, but now if let's test this if this is happening or not. Okay. Reload. Okay, the second task, interview at 4 p.m. I'm trying to mark it complete. Mark it at complete. So in task list, second interview at 4 array, we have two. Now it will, when you use the find, even if same record is multiple, it will only get you the first one. Okay. So now just pay attention. The first one you will get this one. So currently this variable is false in your array. Okay. Now you are changing that flag to true. Now if you check the array, see that flag got true. So what we did, from your array, you find the particular element with the task name. You change the flag to true, and that ultimately got changed over here also. Okay. And that we are storing on the page. So here also you can see we got this flag as true. Now, when you are rendering something different color, we need to add it over here. So when it comes to render, let's check the CSS. With the CSS, we should be able to understand key complete or task completed. But where do we add it? Let's try like this. Okay, like this. So if task is completed, we just need to add that class, then it will look like that. Now, this task completed is dynamic. If the element dot is complete value is true, we need to add this, otherwise we don't need to add this, right? So here you can directly write your interpolation, means that value like this. Here, if element dot is complete is true, then you will add this value, otherwise this value. So here you will add task completed. So if the element we are iterating, if that value is true, we will add this class, otherwise it will be empty. So see now. Only this was completed. So see, on this element itself, we got that class present. If I inspect, see task completed class is there. On the remaining element, we don't have it because that is the condition we have added. Ternary operator. What it says, if this element is complete variable is true, we put this value, otherwise it will be empty. So let's try another. Okay. So if I, let's say this complete, getting it? So we are able to mark my task as complete. Logic was very simple. We got the task name, we found the particular task by find method, and we changed the flag to true. And again we replotted it. So while replotting, now we know that element is completed flag is true. So if the element is complete is true, we need to add this class. So whenever inside the class, we use the ternary operator. If that element is true, we are adding this class, otherwise it will go empty. So that's how dynamic class is also getting added. Understood? I know those who are saying for the first time, it might be a lot, but yeah, when you work on a project at the same time, so many things happen. It's not one topic per thing, right? When you work on a project, so many things happens parallelly. Okay. So watch the recording properly, do one by one thing. So what we completed today, validation. On click of add, we have to validate. First we fix on the page load, it was breaking. If we don't have any record, we added a null check. Okay. So on the page load, while reading the local storage data, before converting it, we added the null check. If the data is there, then only we are converting it. Then we added an empty check. If the value is empty, user didn't add any value, we handle the validation, right? After the validation, again we added the duplicate check. So if the value is already there, we should not add it. Okay? Yeah, Brijesh.
Uh, so my question is, currently we are learning this DOM manipulation, right? Means
Right.
how to means use DOM basic thing. And I'm applying for Angular. So do
This,
they ask related?
no.
Uh,
This, first of all,
yes.
whatever we are doing, this doesn't, we don't use this in Angular, DOM manipulation. Okay? But if your experience is greater than 5 years, so they are asking DOM manipulation in interview also. But again, this is basic. Forget about interview. Even though when you work on Angular, how do you create dynamic element in Angular? Let's say if I tell you,
Similar,
hmm,
similar like this only, but we use ng model for loop for each like that.
ng for or at the rate for loop, right? That's how you create a
Yes.
dynamic element, right? So,
Yes,
but
correct.
inside that, behind the scene, what might be happening? Ultimately, Angular React, it's a browser, right? You're going to run it on the browser, and browser understand only JavaScript. Even though you are writing the code with Angular, but ultimately it gets converted into the pure JavaScript because browser doesn't understand Angular, right? So you should understand the background. Ki when you use ng for, what happens actually? So that element with the inner element that all get created dynamically with the JavaScript only. Understood? So that's why having this knowledge is important. You should not be blank about this because this is basic. But again, if your experience is greater than 5 years, these things also they will ask in the interview, DOM manipulation. Not all this they will ask you, but yeah, how do you access an element? How do you create an element? If I want to set a value of an element, right? What is dot value? What does dot inner HTML does? What does dot inner text does? So this question they might ask. Okay.
Uh, and sir, and one more thing I want to ask, as I'm preparing for Angular, right?
Hmm.
So currently the job market has been changed, means they are asking AI related questions also. So are
Which
there
question?
any questions
Which question?
AI
AI
related
related, na?
means prompt?
So see,
Yes, yes.
AI related just understand what is prompt, how to write a prompt, context, example, guardrail, what there should be in your prompt. Then what are LLM model? What are LLM model? What is
LLM
LLM?
means Python.
What is LLM
No,
first of
sir.
all? What is the long form of LLM?
Machine learn,
Large
large
language,
language model.
right?
Model.
So whatever the model you
Yes.
see, ChatGPT model, ChatGPT also has different model, right? Here we won't be able to see. Let me check it on other browser. Yeah, here we won't be able to switch it. So here you can see configure. This is the paid one, no? Model. So these are the different model. Now in chat, we are in ChatGPT. So ChatGPT doesn't use any other model. So it identifies model as per the name. 0.3, 5.2. These are the different model. Okay. If I go to Codex, let it load. So here you can see you are getting the model GPT-5, GPT 5.4, GPT mini. These are different model. Same like if you go on your Copilot. I don't have Copilot over here. Let me check. GitHub. In GitHub Copilot uses so many different model. Okay. See, just a minute. So here you can see GPT models are also there. Chat GPT model, Haiku, Cloud Sonnet. Okay. And again some GPT model. Getting it? Opus. So these are the different LLM model created by different companies that you are able to use it over here. Understood? So these are your LLM
Yes.
model. What is machine learning? What you will call it as a machine learning? What concept you will consider like, yeah, this is machine learning. Like when we didn't add AI, we were just hearing machine learning, correct? When we didn't had
Yes,
ChatGPT, before ChatGPT, we used to hear only machine learning. There was no AI at that time. So what was machine learning? So whatever the models we had, when you train that model, you put some data into it, you know, so much of data you pass to that model, and that you train your model on that data, so that model will get that intelligence, you know. A very basic example to relate you, let's say whenever you have a small baby, right? How does small baby learns? Let's say you are from a Marathi background, you don't have to teach Marathi to baby, like, yeah, talk this. But when it let that baby grows, then you have to teach English to that. But Marathi, you don't have to teach it. Then how does that baby learns that Marathi or whatever the native language?
by seeing, by making mistakes,
By
by
hearing.
doing,
No, if
by
we talk
hearing.
about language, it is by hearing only. So that is the
Yes,
training,
sir.
right? So when we
Yes.
talk about LLM model, it provides the data to it. It check that data, various possible, this and that, positive scenario, negative scenario, what is good, what is bad, everything we explain it to him. So that is the training. So that is what from last 10 year to 20 year machine learning was going on. So they were training the model. Now those models are mature enough, so now they can think and they can provide you output. Okay. So once the baby is little bit grown, so we can provide some task. Yeah, go fetch some water. So now it understand. Yeah, he has to go to his mom and ask for the water. Got it? So now LLM models are mature. They can make their decisions by the knowledge they have. Okay. So this basic thing you should know.
Yeah, sir. So, sir, I'm actually applying for 4 years, 4 years opening, 4 years in Angular.
Hmm.
So, can you please tell me, means, what questions should I prepare to crack the
Related to AI or
Angular?
Angular only you are saying?
Angular only, Angular and
Anything.
AI based.
AI, don't go in deep. Okay. Just have a
Oh,
basic knowledge
oh,
of AI. Okay. Angular question I
okay.
will provide you. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And one more thing, sir, as you shared in the WhatsApp group or Google form, what is that for? Means,
Just share your information. Every batch I have
oh,
Excel,
oh,
na? So where I
acha, acha,
provided
okay,
all the
okay,
batch info.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, sir.
And share the LinkedIn profile also. Some people don't, because I need to send you connection request also. So send the LinkedIn
Oh,
profile also. Okay.
okay, sir. I will WhatsApp. Okay.
Yeah. Fine. Okay, guys. So watch the recording carefully. Try to do one thing at a time. Again, I don't know like how you are using the recording. Don't watch the recording and pause it and play it. Means don't do the parallel coding. You are pausing the recording and doing something like that. Don't do that like that. First, watch all the recording, complete recording. Try to understand why we did it, how we did it. Then you try the same thing. Yeah, again, if you stuck, you can refer. But again, you don't do the parallel way. Yeah, you are pausing the recording and you are writing the code. Don't copy paste. Okay? Watch whole recording in one go, understand what it is, and then you try to implement the same. Fine? Okay. Anyone having any doubt? Or we are good to close. Fine. Thank you all.